Hello, everybody. Okay, what a beautiful day. I actually had to bring this way down. The sunshine is just coming in through here. Anyways, I wish I could like put the blinds way up and just have the full sunshine, but then you wouldn't be able to see anything. Anyways, I did a live stream yesterday that I had been wanting to do for quite a while. This trying plugins that I forgot I had. And it turned out there were a lot more than I thought. I figured I'd go in and find a few here and there, but like I'm realizing, I mean, some of them I've used quite a bit in the past, but it's just I haven't thought about them in so long. Anyways, I made it up to the M's and I was exhausted, so I stopped. And if you were here last night at the end, you probably noticed. So anyways, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go from M to Z or Z today, and we'll go through a bunch of these. Let's see here, and my camera looks way different. I think it's the first time that I did a live stream or a recording during the day in anyways, a very long time. Anyways, okay, so we're going to go to the M's and this mixed in key. Okay, I've used this a lot in the past, and I don't know if I want to say it's forgotten, but I actually did forget. Everybody's talking about scalar, whatever. Captain, actually not Captain Beat, but I tend to use this Captain Chords a lot. And if you don't know this plugin, it's basically, it'll help you do chord progressions really easily, but it's got a whole bunch of stuff built into it. It's got some great sounds. I don't generally use the sounds from that, but you can export the sounds. Like you can make a loop in here, just a custom loop, drop it into you just drag it into your track, or export the MIDI, which is what I tend to do. But the reason I use this one a lot, and like I said, I know it's forgotten plugins. I knew I had this, but I forgot. Like I haven't used this in, anyways, a very long time. I always forget it's there, so I've been putting in the notes on here like a sucker. But yeah, so if we could A minor, it doesn't really matter which one we use, and then we'll switch this to a different pattern, and we will choose. Okay, yeah, I guess it has been a while since I've used this. So let's see here. I just noticed there's an import MIDI. I never noticed that. I don't know if that's relatively new or what, but yeah. So what we want is the chord progression itself, and we'll go choose something like this. So you can create the pattern you want, like how it's playing, and then you can create the chords themselves. And then what I tend to do pretty well every time, I think I can do it with all of these. I add to the complexity because I like fifths, seventh and ninth chords and whatever. So it's a little loud, isn't it? And then, so it's got a bunch of these extra plugins that are matched to it. So we've got the chords, and then if we want to add beat, oh, actually, no, we won't do that here because, that's very weird. I don't think Ableton Live has crashed on me ever since I had that problem that I mentioned before where it was crashing when I was scrolling stuff on push, but they fixed that a while back. But apart from that, I don't remember seeing Ableton Live crash. But anyways, excuse me. So we'll go back here, go back to Captain Chords, and oh no, this is Captain Chords. That's not the one we want. We want Captain Chords Epic. Captain Chords was the original one, and yeah, so this is the newer one. So we're going to go do another chord again, another chord progression, and we're going to raise the complexity. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit so your ears aren't hurting. Just trying something here. Okay, so I'm gonna in theory we should be able to load. Oh, that's probably why. I think when I loaded this earlier, did I load yeah, I loaded Captain Beat, but like the older ones, so maybe that's why it crashed. So we'll do this on a different track. And I haven't used these together very much, but yeah, see, there's this, and then if we do the deep is the bass line, and then this should be matched to add Captain chords. Oh, there we go. I'm doing the old version again. Deep epic. And this should be matched to, yeah, you can see that these here are the chords from here. And then it's adding a bass line based on that. Oh, that sounds really nice, actually. I think I'd make this one lower, but yeah, so they're all matched together. And even though I've used, I tend to use Captain chords, but I sort of forget that these other ones are there. And then there's melody. Actually, let's just try melody real quick. Oh, see, I keep going. I think I'm gonna have to delete the older one. I don't use it anyways, but okay. So here we'll do the melody, which should be matched to the other ones. So create idea, I guess. I don't know. Oh, see, I've never used this one. I guess that's the one. Anyways, it's creating a whole whole track for us, and everything, like each of these is based on the other plugins we have in there. So it's sort of interesting how they work through it. But anyways, this yeah, I'll have to sit down and use all of these. I wouldn't use these as is. Like, obviously there are some changes we'd want to make, but it gives us a starting point. I tend to use the chords, like I said, for the more complex chords, and then I'll drop it into Ableton Live and then work with it from there. It just gives you a little starting point for a few chords and stuff. So anyways, so that is the Captain plugins. And then there was another one from them. I don't have it here. There's another one I've used with one of my friends that we were working on music with. I don't see it. But anyways, there's another one that is, it might come up later, but where it's Satellite, it's called. And yeah, okay. That's weird. I was sure I'd installed it on here, but anyways, if you're ever working on a track with other people, Satellite will let you work in your DAW. They can work in any DAW they want. You'll work in your DAW, and it's actually saving the output, and then you can send them almost in real time the audio track, and like basically work back and forth on a track. And he didn't really use, he had Ableton Live, but he didn't really use it. He was using MPC Beats, and we were able to take it. I don't remember how we did it, but anyways, we were able to get sounds back and forth. I haven't played around with it enough to really, use it fully. But anyways, it's free. I'm pretty sure it's still around. Let's see. Mixed in key. Satellite Sessions, I think it's called. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, it's free. So If we watch just a quick second of this
Welcome to
this video.
Activate your you want to share.
I just want to go to the part where, yeah, see, while you're doing stuff, it's actually exporting the audio, and then the next person can be working on the audio. So it's basically, anyways, it's a nice way to go back and forth, especially if you're not using the same DAW. So yeah. Okay, so let's keep going with these. Yeah, these, I always forget I have these. They're pedals from Moog, I think it's Moog. And I actually remember seeing a clip from him saying, whatever it was, he was talking about the pronunciation, and he was saying, like, most people pronounce it one way, and he pronounces it a different way, and whatever. But yeah, so the ring mod. So these are 3 pedals, and gives us. Oh, okay. We'll have to update this. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. And yeah, so 3 pedals. Ring modulation always, I don't know. It just, I find it irritating on my ears. I don't tend to use it very much. But there are some interesting things you can do, especially if you put this on drums. You can make some interesting sounds. And then the phaser, which, oh yeah, so they're all throwing errors. It's been a while since I've used these, so I guess they've all been updated. And then the saturator is just a saturation. So yeah, interesting little pedals. I haven't used them enough to be able to feel that I can use them in any project. But anyways, I'll have to go through these, and I'm trying to figure out, well, maybe we can do that now. It's interesting because that does have an interesting sound, and I'm not sure which one. It does make a huge difference. Are we even on? Oh, that's why it's not doing anything. We're not even on the right track. Oh, this is irritating. Remind me. Okay, so I take these, bring them. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna waste time. I'm just gonna throw them on here. Okay, so ignore the last few minutes. I thought I was more awake than last night, but it's asking me to activate. Ooh, okay. Okay, so that's the phaser. Let's bring the ring mod into it. Yeah, see, ring mod is just like, I understand we have to play around with the settings and stuff, but yeah, it really doesn't like these until I update them. So, okay, we're going to do this some other time. They're not very expensive. Like, the thing is, if you're looking for these, wait till they're on sale. It's been a while since they've done a sale, but a lot of the time they'll end up at like $9. I think that's what I paid, about $10 each. So you just have to wait for the sale. Okay, Native Instruments. FM8. See, I remember getting this, and I get mixed up between FM8 and Massive because they look very similar. This is the original Massive, not Massive X, but I guess I don't look that's that's the only one I look at it, but like these settings here and the browser, I just feel like it's like tend to get mixed up. Like this browser looks the same as the other one, so I tend to get mixed up of which one is which. And I do use Massive here and there, but this one I've rarely used. So I mean, it's a synth. So like all the other ones, but and it just feels old because of the oh, this is a nice sound. It feels old because of the UI, but yeah, these kicks are not. I don't know. It's another one of these synths that I find interesting, but it doesn't like blow me away as soon as I load it. Okay, so you can use just the effects, which I've never used. And I'm not sure why the effects is just blocking the whole thing. It's not even letting the audio go through. Okay, anyways. As you can tell from my plugins, I've got enough effects. I don't need the ones from here. Massive. ROM, if you get just one reverb, I don't know, that's the one I get. There's something about the sound of this reverb out of everything I have that is my go-to, and there's a way to get it for free. You get Contact Start or Complete Start from Native Instruments, and then that will be included in it. So it's a good way, and like really this is definitely not a forgotten one because I use this regularly, but it's just a really nice. This is just the default preset, and a lot of the time I'll just stick with the default preset and make a couple changes, and it's good that way. But it just, I don't know, it just sounds beautiful. So, anyways, that's if there was one free plugin that I would recommend, it's this one. Reactor 6, yeah, I don't have much in here. I think I have I got this because of the kick and the bass. Yeah, these that I think I got free at some point or at a very good price, but I actually forgot I had this Super 8, and that sounds nice. If you're listening, if you've got bass on your headphones or your monitors or whatever, you can really, really hear that, the deep end in here. So, ooh, this one as well. Hey there, Haystack Sniper. Nice to see you. These basses are nice. I got this. I got Reactor for this bass and kick, which I always have a tough time loading these back in. Okay, I think we got to go here. Save changes. No. Oh, that's why this sounds so good, because we still have this reverb on there. Even though I don't usually put reverb on bass, it does make it sound nice. So I've got these, and this is why I got it, but I added Super 8 at some point and never used it. Okay, we'll take the reverb off this. I tend to forget I have these. I like how these work, where you're able to do the kick and bass and sort of like move them away from each other. Basically, sort of like side chamber. It's just easy to to spot what you're dealing with. So, but the Super 8 is one that I will really have to look into a lot more. Any free plugins that you have the download for? I'm not sure what you mean, but there are there are quite a few interesting free plugins. Oh, that I have the link for. If that's what you're asking, the best way is just search the name and you find it right away. But I mentioned a few yesterday. This Moon Echo by Audio Thing, that's really worth getting. Go Moon Echo. Well, it depends on the type of music you make, but this one's a whole lot of fun. It creates some weird, weird sounds that you can't find in any other plugin. But yeah, you just go to audiothing.net and find it there. So, and I mentioned a few yesterday. I'm trying to remember which other ones there were, but there are quite a few. The one even I just mentioned, Complete Start, if you want a whole bunch of stuff to get you going, there's that one. And I've got a bunch. Let me see here. I'll have some other ones that I'll look at in a few minutes. And yeah, there are some of the older plugins. Yeah, once the older plugins stop working, yeah, it gets tough. And I know there are a whole bunch, like there was a phase where people would be releasing all these all these free plugins that just, they don't work with anything anymore, which is really too bad. A lot of them were 32-bit or whatever, but there are a lot of really good new ones. I wish I could remember the ones I mentioned yesterday, because yeah, there were a few that were really interesting. Anyways, if you do, you could check out the stream from there, but from yesterday. But yeah, I'll go through a few of these because there are quite a few interesting ones, and it seems like there's always okay, we haven't gotten to it yet, but if you want the absolute best free plugin besides this ROM that I mentioned, the reverb, there's one called Supermassive that we'll look at in a bit. That should be your first one if ever it's something you're looking for. Yeah, exactly. In the mid 2000s, it seems like it's all the little random ones. And I was using, at that time, I was using Reason, and Reason had this weird thing where they were saying, we will never add VST plugins ever. And they were like really like, I'll say stubborn about it. They were like, we'll never, ever, ever add. And which I understand the reasoning behind it was that Reason never crashed. Even now, like Reason very rarely crashes, but they wanted everything sort of built in. So yeah. But the thing is, without having the external plugins, you didn't have access to those. So because I was using Reason exclusively around then, I ended up, not really getting a bunch of those plugins, which is probably good now because a lot of those songs still aren't done. At one point, I'd like to go back in and finish them up, and if they were full of external plugins, I wouldn't be able to do anything with them. So interesting to listen to. Thanks for the stream. Thank you so much for the kind words. That's actually very nice of you to say, and thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, Ramen Supermassive, you've used those. And yeah, I did switch to live, and it's weird because my process on switching to live was like, I had tried live over and over because I had it was an M-Box Mini audio interface, and it came with live, and I loaded it up and I couldn't figure out how it worked. So I just kept going back to Reason, going to live, going back to Reason. And at one point, one of my friends wanted me to, her kid was in a pageant, and she needed to take the song, like a 3-minute song, and turn it into like 1 minute or whatever it was for the competition. And you can't do that in anything else. Like, you can't do that really easily and quickly anywhere else than in live, because I was able to go and just chop it up. And then that's why I sort of understood how live worked. Mostly because I went into the arrangement mode here instead of the session mode. But anyways, yeah, I went to live, and I haven't been able to go back. I still use Reason for some stuff, but I find that if I'm trying to work on like a track in there, it's just, I don't know if it's because I haven't been using it for a while or what, but I don't know, just the workflow just doesn't, it takes me so long to get something, and it just doesn't, I can never get it to sound right. I love Reason as a plugin, but yeah, I'm glad I went back to live as well, because yeah, it makes a huge difference. So, and then okay, so Replica, I think this is a delay, which is another one that I installed and never. Okay, we must be on the wrong track here. Yeah, so that's a delay. I don't know. I've gotten tired of reverbs and delays lately. I don't know. I mean, they feel like they're all the same, and I understand like they're different, and there's some stuff that actually I think is missing on here that I really like on delays. I love the ducking effect where it lets the original signal through a little bit more. So I tend to use the ones that have that. But anyways, it's a nice sounding delay, but it's a delay. So let's see here. I have no idea. The mandolin and ukulele. What? I don't even remember getting this. That's very weird, because I usually, like, if there's a plugin that's free, I'll usually like get it, but I won't install it unless it's something that I'm really going to use. And this one, okay, we're going to get rid of. I'm surprised that I would have installed this. It does sound nice though. There was a funny story about a mandolin, because I have a banjo here, and my dad told me at one point, he says, I can get you a banjo from somebody he knew. And I was like, awesome, whatever. And in my head, it was a mandolin. So I'm like, okay, I started to figure out, I went to watch videos before I got it to figure out what I can play with it. And I realized like a banjo isn't at all what I was expecting, because I do dance music. Like a banjo isn't usually used in there. So yeah, that was my big surprise. I thought it was a mandolin. I actually am really happy to have the banjo now, because I can make some interesting sounds with it that I can sample and turn into stuff. But yeah, this is the instrument that I thought I was getting. Okay, so the ukulele. Can we do chords? Better. Yeah, I could see if we work the sound a little bit, we could. I'm gonna try this with I think there's a 8-tone span. It's interesting because these all sound quite different, like one from the other. But I don't know. I have no idea why I installed this. But anyways, it's definitely one I forgot I had. Newfangled audio. Equivocate. Yeah, I remember getting this, but I have no idea. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna throw Serum on here, just so we're not using the banjo sound for all of these demos. Okay, and maybe we'll just go choose. I'll just find some sort of a pluck preset or something. Are you guys using Serum 2 yet? I haven't played around with it as much as I'd hoped, but it can do so much. I was trying to do presets the other day, and there's so many different options in it now that to make a preset, I don't know. It took too much thinking to have to sit there and and make a whole preset. So anyways, it's you could change like 300 different things in it and still have more that you could change while you're making your preset. But anyways, okay, so this one here, from what I remember, this is some sort of a, I don't know, it's an EQ with something special about it, and I can't even remember what it is. Let's try some of these maybe. Guitar presence. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at this one because I can't even remember what it does. And again, I don't even know why I installed this because it's not something that I would generally use. But oh yeah, we'll get rid of Serum and go back to where we were, which is somewhere here. Okay, yeah, Newfangled Audio. Okay, Kickstart I use. If you've been on my streams or watched my videos, I use this in everything. So definitely not a forgotten plugin. Noise filter. This one I did forget that I had, and I remember there being one reason I use this is there's a, oh no, maybe, yeah, here we go. Ambience. And you can go and like choose like campfire and then bring it here. Can't really. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're on 100%, so we've got just the campfire sound. But if we can mix it, and then when the sound stops, it stops. But I use this for, there's a vinyl. Yeah, here we go, vinyl sounds. I had forgotten completely about this, but it's interesting because the vinyl sound just lasts as long as that sound is playing. For lo-fi, it could be really interesting to... That did nothing. Oh yeah, we gotta switch these scale back. That's why it sounds so weird. I'm still in the Spanish. See, like just this. So it almost sounds like you would have recorded a sound from a record and then you're like fading the sound. It's just different than if the vinyl sound is there and it just cuts. Like the fact that it sort of fades out with the sound, there's something interesting about it. Anyways, this is an interesting one, and do water bubbles. Frying bacon. I don't know how you'd use this, but anyways, I'm sure it could be useful. But anyways, that's this. It's interesting because as we're moving this up and down, it's going, because the sound we've got is mostly in the low end. As we go with the high pass, we end up with just the bacon sound almost. Anyways, this is an interesting little plugin. And this one's free as well. Oh, I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't. Noise filter. I forgot how much fun this plugin was, but okay, this one here. Yeah, it is free. So anyways, Stack Sniper, you were looking for some free ones. This is this is one you could have some fun with. Okay, Noise Ash Audio. Okay, just basically a preamp. So anyways, it's a preamp. I don't bother going into these very much because like a preamp or channel strip, you know, they're all similar. They'll have a bit of a different sound, but I didn't remember getting this, and I have that other one that I was talking about yesterday, the V Pre 73, that I would use probably before this. But anyways, still interesting to have, but I don't know why I installed this. Okay, Plugin Alliance. Oh yeah, so we've got a lot here. Yeah, over the years I've gotten a bunch of plugins from these guys. Yeah, these here are just like channel strips. They're parts of channel strips, like EQs and whatever. And then there's the actual channel X, I think it is, which has all of them in. The black box, I use this once in a while, mostly because I like the look of it. But I do wish these lights would light up when there's stuff going through. I don't think they do. They might. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, this is it's good for rounding out your sound. Yeah, bass, dude. I don't remember. Oh, okay. It's a bass amp. The cabinet, but okay. Blue chorus. See, I don't know why I installed this because I never use these. Like, okay, we're gonna get rid of a few of these. I think that noise filter is throwing things off. Yeah, it's a chorus, but this one too. I don't know why I have this installed because I don't think I've ever used it. Boom, I like. This is better on drums. Let's bring it over to. Do the same thing I did yesterday. I'll load up just a 707 kit, like just a plain kit, because we tend to have a lot of stuff that works well on drums. 707. There we go. So and then yeah, I like how the kick drum gets smaller and bigger, but okay, I might have to turn this up a little bit. Because I don't really notice a huge difference. Is it even on here? Yeah. I sort of remember doing more. Oops. I sort of remember doing more than this. So something feels like it's not going. Yeah, something's not working right. I'm wondering if maybe is it because we're using the AU version or something? Let's try this VST version. I hit a different key. You're probably wondering why I made it sound like a like a cymbal. I don't know. Okay, here we go. This. I don't know. It doesn't sound any different. So, anyways, this usually works. So, I don't know. I guess that's a figure out for another day. Maybe there's a reason I forgot about that one. Oh, Boom V version 3. Maybe this one. Actually, I didn't even remember them updating. There, this one we noticed the difference, but yeah, this one I completely forgot about because I remember using Boom a long time ago. But this one I didn't even know I had. So if we do the drive. Yeah, it's really. I'm sorry, sorry for your ears on this one, but anyways, okay. V3, which is an interesting. Yeah, okay. I'm glad I'm going to be trying to use this on some drums. Oh, actually, you're asking about free plugins. That's one that I mentioned yesterday. Speaking of drums, go if you don't have this one, the Cashmere. Kick Essentials, I think it is. Essentials Kick. This is and it's free, and it does a lot. Like, I was using it a little bit yesterday, and yeah, this makes some really interesting sounds, and you can really do a lot with your kick. Like, you can take a kick that's not even made for the type of music you're making and turn it into something else just with the Essentials version. And yeah, it's a very interesting one. Okay, so this one, I sort of forgot I had it, but I've never really used this. A lot of people say the de-esser on here is better than any other de-esser. So anyways, if you need a de-esser, yeah, the Focusrite console seems to have it. For some reason, anything I run through it, I feel like it makes a sound a little bit more tinny. I feel like it takes away from the sound instead of adding stuff to the sound. I don't know why. And some people love this thing, so maybe it's, I don't know, maybe I'm using it wrong, but I don't know. There's something about it that I don't love the sound that comes out of it, so it's not the channel strip that I choose first. And then this, I don't even remember. I'm guessing I have another channel strip at the end, but yeah, I don't remember getting this one either, or installing it. BX Control. Is it a compressor? It looks like it's doing downward compression here, upward compression here, but the thing I don't like about the Plugin Alliance plugins is, I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, some of them have the presets, but it's tough to find the presets. Like, it doesn't have a button where you can load the presets right in the plugin, so it always throws me off a little bit. But just threw everything on the left for some reason. This mono is everything. Oh, hold on. We're adding a new one every time here. Ooh, that was loud. Anyways, okay. So I'll have to play around with this one a little bit more because, yeah. Some of these, like I said, I don't even know why I installed. Usually I just install the stuff that I use, especially the Plugin Alliance ones. I really just install. So I must have like gotten the plugin, and right when I got it, I was like, I'm going to use this so much. So I installed it, and then I forgot about it completely. So it's probably good that I'm doing this stream because I'll be able to. It's a good reminder of the plugins I do have. Click to activate. I'm online. Okay. Oh, I remember getting this and being really excited about it, but it's a complicated beast, and I remember watching a bunch of videos, figuring out exactly how this thing works, and now I've forgotten completely. But do we have any presets in this one? Yeah, we do. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to use this thing again because, and I remember there are a couple of buttons that are like the go-to ones that you deal with those first. But anyways, I'm assuming it's just like a mid-side. This is the the mid, the mono, and then this is a stereo, and there must be this here must be, no. I don't know, there must be somewhere here where you're adjusting the crossover frequency. But anyways, okay, so yeah, we're not gonna waste time with this one, but yeah, there's that one. Master desk I use here and there. BX meter. Yeah, I'd forgotten I had this. This used to be, if you've used Plugin Alliance for a long time, you probably have a bunch of these. And I hadn't even realized you could do that, because it used to be, they would do these sales where you could get stuff, and it like there was it had to be over $10 or something, or it had to be $20 or more. So, and they had a bunch of plugins that were $15. It was something like that. And then you would add this $5 one to bring it over 20. But once I had it, I was like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. And then I found out that you could use it again. Like, you could get more licenses of this plugin. So I don't know how many licenses I have of this, but I'm pretty sure I have a few of them, because yeah, that's how it worked, is you'd use it just to put you over the threshold. Their deals used to be amazing. Like, every little while they would just do, we're giving you $20 on any plugin, no minimum purchase. And then they would reset it like a week later, and then a few days later they'd reset it again. So you were able to get a bunch. And a lot of these, like the pedals that I had at the beginning, that's how I got those. I just don't know why I installed them, because I don't and I won't use them. But there are a bunch of these that I do use a lot. So this one here, I tend to forget I have it, but anytime I've used it, I don't know, it's like I gave up relatively quickly. And I even saw there were a bunch of presets the other day for it, and I was thinking of getting the presets, but then I don't know, there's something about it that I feel, it does sound nice, but I'm going to turn that down again. Sorry about your ears. I've had Ableton do this sometimes lately, where I'm clicking on something and it like brings the plugin back up, like in the way. I don't know. So anyways, it's at least it has the presets here, but I've never really gotten into this one. So I tend to not really think about it very much. And then the BX Opto. Yeah, this one, every time I use it, it's so long before I use it again that I have to go and relearn how to use it, and what each of the settings do. There's a Opto pedal, which is the basic version of this. But if you really sit there and work this, and I find that it'll work on like half of the sounds that you put through it. If you really work it, you can get an amazing sound. And then half of them, they don't work with it. Like, it'll work with very specific sounds that I find, but when it does work, it sounds good. Just gonna get rid of a bunch of these. Oh, I can get rid of the Focusrite as well. And the boom. Okay. No, subfilter. That's the one. The Opto one. Ignore everything I just said about the Opto. It's this one. This is the one that can sound really good with bass sounds, but you have to really, really work it. The Opto, now that I think about it, I had been wanting this one for so long because I just had the pedal, and I don't think I've ever used it once I did set it up. But no, this BX subfilter is the one that if you want some nice, actually you can tell it just here, like if you're listening on headphones or on better monitors, we'll just bypass it. You can really feel. Just adding a little bit just gives that feel. And I haven't adjusted anything to the settings or the frequencies or anything. So, yeah, this one I actually forgot I had, and I have to use this a lot more because a lot of the music I do is really bass heavy. So, so I'm going to put this under favorites as well. If you're wondering, these purple ones is I tend to do the AU version, which is the one I use. So it's just quicker to see which one I need, and instead of looking at these little tiny icons. And yeah, so the version I use, I put as favorite 7, I think it is 6. But yeah, so okay, subsynth. Yeah, and this is the full version of the other one that we were just looking at, the sub filter. Okay, we're gonna get rid of sub. Yeah, as soon as you remove it, you notice the difference right away. Okay. So this one. Yeah, this one you can adjust the frequencies a lot more, and I think this is the... But this one, again, like I forget that I have it, and I just forget how to how to use it. So yeah, I'll have to look through this one again. And BX tuner, didn't we go through this one? Okay. Oh no, this is the tuner. This is the one. The meter and the tuner, I think, were both like $5 sometimes. But this one I haven't been able to. I've always wanted to, and I might do it now. I've always been curious to see if the Ableton Live tuner is more accurate, or this one. So this is C. Okay, they're both picking it up. I'm wondering, I'm just going to detune this a little bit. Can I detune this? Okay, you know what? We're going to go to Serum on here. It'll be quicker. I want to get just a sound that might be tough to even go. Let's go find a kick and see how each of these reacts to. Because a kick drum isn't a set frequency. It'll move during. So the Ableton is like trying to figure it out. This one isn't even. It gave up. And then sometimes if you have to do this with the kick, you can bring the octave way up. Why doesn't this? Oh, it's already a +4. That's why. Okay, well, that won't work. But anyways, you can bring the octave up a lot of the time, and then sometimes the tuner will pick it up. But anyways, it's a basic tuner, but if you can get it for free at some point, can be useful. Let's go back to our plugins. I have to delete some of these because like there's some of these that I know I'll never use. But anyways, Channel X is a channel strip. DS Thorn, I actually always forget I have this because it always comes up on, well, it doesn't exist anymore, but the music, Computer Music Magazine used to have like a basic version of this, and this is the full version. But I'd forgotten I had this. I like going to pads a lot of the time. It's a good way to test out a synth really quickly because the sounds are a little bit fuller, so you can. Ooh, I really like this. Pad Pacific. I'm actually writing this one down. 1 second here. Pad Pacific on Thorn. Yeah, I could see. Oh, and the bass in here. Just the low end is really nice. Okay. Some of these sounds, like especially this one here. I can see using this in the background for some of my deep house stuff. Let's check out the leads. There's a lot of presets in here as well. I hadn't noticed. A lot of these sound like commercial. This with a bit of processing would sound really good for a big room house track. Oh, this is just one oscillator as well, so if we stack some of these, we could probably get some interesting sounds. Okay. This is one that I'm going to use. I'm going to try using a little bit more because that has potential. I can tell, like, from the first 10 presets, it might just be that the presets are not programmed great. Like, it doesn't mean that the synth is really better because the presets are nicer. But a lot of the time, I don't know, I find it gives me an idea of, like, if I want to use it that day or not, if that makes sense. So, okay, these are parts of that X channel strip. Oh, I didn't remember having this, and it's something that I might use, the Lindahl 80 channel strip. Yeah, I didn't know I had this, actually. I remember seeing it, and I was like, I should buy this at some point. Huh, okay. I didn't know I had this one. Like I said, I'm not going to go through, like, compressors and channel strips. They're compressors and channel strips. Like, you know, they'll work at fixing stuff or whatever and give the sound, you know, they might give a little bit of coloring to the sound or whatever, but, you know, it's not really worth sitting around that much. This de-esser, I always forget I have, and I go for other de-essers, and really I should be jumping on this one. Actually, there's a Waves one that I like better, but yeah, this one does work very well. I just never remember to load it up. The Channel X. Okay, this one here, I haven't used it in a while. This is not a forgotten plugin, but this is a go-to plugin. If you, especially for the low end, I don't know if we can. It's a little complicated to figure out at the beginning, and it takes a little bit of work, but I only use it for the low end. But I find that out of all of the plugins I have, ones that are made for low end, that are made to bring out the subs, whatever, there's one from Waves that I use, but this is the one that if I want that really deep sound, it just sounds so professional. Like, as soon as I put stuff on here and I work on the low end, it will, I don't know, it feels like you plugged it into a $30,000 like rack unit and you brought the sound back in. Like, there's something about the sound on here, and it's rare. Like, once in a while it won't work, like it won't work with the sound, but like maybe once out of each 10 times or 20 times. I don't know if we can tell here, but yeah, you can. It just makes it so deep, and I hate to say makes it sound analog, but that's exactly what it does. But anyways, this is yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked because this is not a forgotten plugin, but I don't know, it's one of those that I should be using on every single track. So I don't always, but okay, Noveltech character. I don't even know what this is. I'll just remove the. I think it's a little bit of an exciter, like. It does sound nice. The only thing is, are we to bring the output down a little bit because some of these plugins just sound good because they're louder. Notice a little bit of a difference, but what if we bring that's a little too much, but anyways, I'll have to use this one a little bit more because yeah, might be able to get some interesting sounds out of it. Vocal enhancer, I didn't remember getting this one either. These are not vocals, but okay, I'm not gonna bother with this one, but anyways, might be able to enhance some vocals with it. The Shadow Hills, which I didn't even remember getting this. I remember wanting this for a long time, and I didn't know I'd gotten this. They went through these phases where they had so many sales, and like the deals were so good that I would get them. And I think this might have been when I was traveling, and they had this deal where you're able to like stack the offers that they had, and then there was some bundle, and if you got a few extra things with the bundle, it ended up being you could use this extra coupon or whatever. I think that's what I did. I have a feeling that's where I got this one. But anyways, people swear by this one, like, but I've never used it because like I said, I didn't even know I had this. It seems to add a little bit of harmonics, like whatever I just loaded here, but anyways, okay, that's interesting. And this one I didn't know I had because it's interesting. I actually was thinking of getting this at some point. I hadn't realized I had it. It's basically transient shaper, I believe. You can tell it just adds a little bit of a twack to the beginning of the sound. Oh, interesting. I like what it does to it. Okay. Huh. I think I'm gonna put this as a favorite. The only weird thing is I don't see an AU version. Okay, I'm gonna put a note. Okay, anyways, that's interesting. Deverb I use constantly, but I use it a lot with my videos. So a lot of these videos, I use that just because this room isn't treated. So I use that just to bring a little bit of the reverb away. Drum exchanger, I actually had forgotten about it, but it takes so much time to figure this one out that I think I've forgotten about it on purpose because I haven't wanted to, but I have to sit there and do it. Like, the concept is really good. Like, you can take a loop and like a full loop, and you can go and replace the snare with a different sample, like a completely different snare in that same sound. Like, the concept is amazing. It actually does a really nice job. I've seen like people using this, but it takes some time to wrap your head around it. And unless it's something you use regularly, like in my case, if there's a loop and there's something I want to change, I'll either use a different loop or, I'll gate some stuff or whatever. Like, I have other ways to do it that aren't as smooth as this, but that are quicker because I haven't really, I didn't sit down and play around with this one. But I love the concept of this. I have to remember to use it. Hawkeye is a metering. Actually, you know what? The visuals on this are... they're really nice. I like this where it looks like it's raining down. Like, I feel like this would be interesting even on a YouTube video where I don't know, if I were to play one of my tracks and just have this, like there's so much stuff to look at. It helps you tell as well, like this sound that we're using from the, I think we're still using, oh, okay, it's Thorn that we're using. You can tell how full that sound is. Like this here will give you the width and stuff. So it's not just in the middle, like there's some stereo to it. Interesting. I don't think I've ever loaded this. Mo verb, so there's the D verb and then the mo verb. I've never tried this. I'm wondering if like it's one reverb that does one thing, like I don't know. Let's say it won't be my for now one of my go-to plugins, but might do some interesting stuff. Vitalizer, yeah, this one I had forgotten about it, but once I do use this, it's one of my favorites. Like it's an exciter, so it'll end up doing, especially for bass, I find. You can tell, I don't know if you can tell on this sound here. You can't tell that much on it here, but you can have that bass a little bit more rounded. I never use a stereo expander because I find that it causes a bunch of phasing issues and stuff. But apart from that, it can bring out the sound. Oh, yeah, we're on the... I'm going to get rid of some of these because I have a feeling some of these are... Yeah, anyways, you can get some interesting... I find that it's nice for shaping your bass. This isn't a bass sound, but anyways, this is an interesting plugin that I have to start using again. Bass Mint I've used a few times, and this is one of those that I was mentioning that I use the T100, even though there's these. So, okay, you know what? If I'm going to be doing these, we're going to go and choose a bass sound so we can really see the difference. Yeah. Okay. Not sure what we had on here. Hold on here. That's something recorded on here somewhere. Okay. And then I'll bring it down a little bit if that's hurting your ears, but so if we, so it's a little bit more aggressive, softened here. So this really changes the sound. And then you can tell it really adds to the kick. It really adds to the low end. Like you can feel a little bit more. And then anti-rumble, solo the bass. Okay, so this is just the low end. I remember now when I think I've used this like once or twice when I first got it, and then I forgot about it. But I sort of like this because instead of doing, if you want to get some sub bass, instead of having to filter out, like to have a low pass filter, you can use this and it automatically gives you just those sub frequencies. And you can really adjust the sub frequencies. Like that's really deep, and like you can. Mono bass, which you should always be doing anyways, but yeah, I'd forgotten that you could do that with this the solo bass. So this is really nice for sub bass and stuff. Soft clip, I don't know if it's okay. So that's basement. I wonder if we go back to this vitalizer, if we can get that. I think some of these have to be on. I don't know. I have to relearn this one because it's been too long since I've used it. Okay. Lo-Fi AF is an amazing plugin, and yeah. If you want to have a little bit more of a gritty sound, I use this one relatively regularly. Needlepoint, I love this plugin. It's one of my favorite plugins, and I do like this the sound of like crackling records. I like this here, where if you're playing your sound, so if you take this and resample it. Just sounds like the record stops. You could do this with the whole track if you want. Like it's an interesting little button that would usually be in a separate plugin. So this plugin, I feel like it does like 2-3 things at the same time. But anyways, very useful for, depending on the type of music you're making. And VSM3, this one I actually forgot I had, but this one takes some work to. Oh well, it's a little too aggressive, but anyways, yeah, you can do a lot with this, but it takes a bit to get your head wrapped around it, and which I haven't done yet. So, okay, Plugin Boutique, Carbon Electro. I forgot completely I had, and I mentioned these yesterday. The Plugin Boutique plugins that they tend to like release them and then they don't really update them. So you never know if it's just going to disappear one day and they just give up on it. But I remember this one having some nice sounds. Let's see, load. But anyways, it's a synth. I think it's mostly like bassy type sounds, but anyways, there's that one there. This one, radio, I actually use this all the time, so it's not at all a forgotten plugin, but it's a interesting one because when I'm doing stuff around here, I'll load it up and it just loads a random radio station, and you can just press a button and switch radio stations, and it's sort of nice if you're working on, if you're in the studio doing something else, but you don't want to load up, I don't know, your Google speaker or something. It's nice to just throw some radio on there. Wave OSC, it's weird to say that I actually forgot I had this because I did a preset pack for it, and I'm so proud of that preset pack. It sounds so good. It's all like 80s sounds, but I don't think anybody's bought it. But anyways, I love this synth. A lot of people don't like it. I love this thing, and yeah, there's like it can do some. It's got a nice sound, and I find that the presets that come with it aren't necessarily the best, but you can get to a sound really easily. So anyways, But don't pay too much for this thing, because sometimes it'll go really low. Like the old version, it was Union, would be like $5 all the time. This one I haven't seen that low, but yeah, it does go on sale a lot. So propeller head, I always forget that. I mean, this isn't as useful as it used to be, but I always forget that they actually have Europa as a plugin. But usually if I want to use this, I will use the Reason plugin rack and then throw Europa in there, and then I can like process it. There are more effects built right into it. But and I don't even know if this is, I don't know if it's free if you have Europa plugin. I don't even know if they have it as a plugin anymore. Let's see. Free Europa VST. It's discontinued. So they say if you upgrade to R10. Anyways, it might be in your account if you do want this. It might be in your account, but I'm not sure what they're doing with it anymore. But okay, PSP AudioWare. Are we getting to the end of this? Oh man, there's so many. Okay, I'm gonna have to run through these a little bit more quickly now, because this one I use a lot. Reverb, Hertz Rider, I use here and there, and I keep trying to figure out how to use this thing. It'll have this like movement. It'll be doing it sort of with pitch, but I like using it on hi-hats anyways to move stuff around. This I actually forgot I had, but it's just a limiter. Yeah, a limiter like other limiters, but it does sound nice. And for some reason there's pspaudiowear.com, which is the same ones, but oh, these are the AU versions in here, and yeah, anyways, it's the same plugins. Quiet music. Okay, this one may crash. I remember this crashing Ableton before. It doesn't anymore. Yeah, I forgot I had this, and I actually really like the sound of this. It does have a nice little sound. I think they may be on Classic Guitar 2 now, but yeah, I forgot about this one, but it's one of those guitar plugins that, I don't know, a lot of them just don't sound real. This one I find you can get some really nice sounds out of it. So it does have a nice sound. And then Healing 2, I actually didn't remember having this. I was looking at it, I think it was on sale the other day, and I was thinking about it. I've been wanting to do late night live streams of just making relaxing music, so I think that's why I ended up getting this. But my wife hates the sound of this, like these sort of bowls, like these long drawn out sounds. She can't stand it, so I don't think she'd be watching the live stream, especially if I do that. But anyways, if you want some calm sounds, there's that one. Okay, Reason Studios, that one I use daily. It's basically getting all of the devices from Reason into whichever DAW you use. It's the one reason to get Reason. But yeah, so anyways, that's like a great plugin I could never do without. Deform 2, I don't even know what this is. Okay, I might try this with I'm just gonna go and copy Serum here. Just choose a pluck. I have no idea what this plugin is. And it bothers me because if I've installed these, either I didn't take the time to check out the plugins that, you know, I had high hopes for, or I've been installing these for nothing. But oh, I think this, yeah, I think I like the, yeah, this is like WoW and Flutter. I don't think I may have loaded it up when I bought it. Oh yeah, I remember. I loaded it up when I bought it, and I never looked at it again. But I do like this. I have other plugins that'll do this, especially cassette plugins. We looked at one yesterday, but if you have it like really low, if you bring the rate up and then you bring this one real, it just has a little bit of a feel, like it just makes it sound like like it's running through some like reel to reel that's not calibrated right or something. And then I don't know what this micro, I guess this affects the shape. So it's a very simple plugin, but sort of interesting. I might have to use this one a little bit. Okay, we'll remove it. Hand Clap Studio. I have 2 hand clap plugins, and I think I've ended up using the other one a little bit more. And I ended up, most of the time I just end up getting a sample of like claps, but I should be using this a little bit more because okay, anyways, that's Hand Clap Studio. I have to use this one a little bit more. Vinyl Crackles Generator. I don't even remember getting this one. There's something I always listen for in a plugin like this, and I haven't found any that does it right. If you have a record that's playing and it's on 33 1/3, so you've got it going, and there's a little scratch here. What happens is it'll go click, 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 and then eventually the click goes off. But there's a repetition to it, and if you've listened to vinyl like for a long time, which I'm showing my age, but I listened for many years, and you sort of get used to the patterns of these scratches going through. And I haven't found any plugin that has that repetitive pattern, and you actually get used to it. Like, you know, if you hear the sound, you know where the next sound is going to come. Like it just becomes automatic. But like if you listen here, it's almost random. It's not, because usually it would sound like this. That's approximately the speed of like the record going through. But I haven't seen that on any of them, and I wish they'd put it on these plugins. But anyways, this does have a lot of options, and I can't remember. I think there may have been, yeah, they're different sounds, which is nice because I've gotten a bunch of records here that I want to sample the scratch sounds in between tracks. And I hadn't realized this had this many samples. That's the thing, it doesn't repeat. Like that sound should be going through over and over. But anyways, yeah, I hadn't realized this had like 80 different. And I don't think this is very expensive either. Vinyl Crackles Generator. No, $30. I didn't pay $30, but anyways, look for a sale on this because it is nice to have stuff if you're making lo-fi or something. But I wish it had that repetition, like a loop. So, but you don't want to loop. Like, that's the thing, is you don't want that same sound going over and over. But you want to have it's almost looped, and then it gets a little bit more quiet, and then another sound comes in more and more. But it's almost like a constantly changing loop. And I'm guessing like I could probably find a way to do it with this and actually loop the sound, and like it would take some work, but I could probably have it like even on 2 different tracks and move between. But anyways, it's an interesting little thing here. Electrics I actually forgot I had, and it's weird that I'd forget because I did a video about this, like a pretty extensive video a long time ago. I love the sound of this thing, but it's weird because it's an electric piano, but what I love it for the most is the bass, like the deep end. The low end on here just sounds so good. But anyways, so and Wurzy, I didn't even know I had this. I actually saw, I think this was on sale the other day and I thought of buying it. That sounds really nice. Unless it's a new version that I saw that was on sale. Or no, it was something else that you bought and then it came with this for free. And I was thinking of looking to see if there was anything I wanted. And I didn't realize I had bought this already. So, okay. This stream is really useful for me. I hope you're finding it enjoyable as well. Just to go through all these different plugin ideas that some of them are well known, some of them aren't. Dirty Tape. I don't remember this one at all. Oh, that's slow to load up. That is nice. I feel like you could mix this with like heavy compression and maybe some distortion, get some really interesting sounds out of it. Okay, so that's Dirty Tape, which I completely forgot I had. Saturation knob. I had forgot about this, but I've never used it. Like, actually, hold on. Maybe I spoke too. I was saying it'd be nice. Oh, these two together, maybe a little bit. Interesting. Tape echoes, I believe is, yeah, this is another tape delay. I tend to use the one from IK Multimedia, which is basically the same as this, but and this is what I was saying earlier with reel-to-reel, what it used to be, or maybe it was last night. I don't know. It's so close at this point, but I love the delay, like the tape delay, and just the length of the tape delay. Where you would have like, this could be the play head, and this is a record head here, and so you're bringing the audio out from your tape, like what you're playing on your tape, which is playing here, and then by the time it gets to here, it's re-recording the output back in. It's basically looping the sound back in, and I find it makes the most interesting delays. This does sound really good. So, oh, you can adjust the dirt. A lot of these. Yeah, the other ones that I've used like this didn't have this. I love bringing the feedback way up. That's a sound I love. I don't know what it is about it. And it's interesting because a lot of delays, if you bring the feedback, it just makes these weird sounds. This one, you have to watch your ears if you bring it up too high, but it does make a really nice sound. So, anyways, I'd forgotten completely I had this. Oh, plus it's got the reverb built in. Okay, I'll have to use this one a little bit more. Transient shaper I use constantly. If you're looking for a transient shaper, like I've used so many of them, and this is my go-to. I always go back to this one. Okay, Sonable, a compressor, EQ, limit, reverb. And these are the smart. Yeah, I think these are just very basic, like one button. You can tell I haven't used this in a very long time. Demo time expired. Yeah, I'll have to reactivate them, but you know what a reverb sounds like. So, and this one, I remember these sounding interesting, but I haven't used them that much. Sonofox. Okay, this here, I forgot I had it, which is weird because I've used this so much over the years. And mostly, this used to crash Ableton constantly, but I don't think it does anymore. So we do note repeat. Oh no, we have to remove learn. Or maybe it is learn. Not sure why the sound isn't going through. Probably because the smart reverb is blocking it. Not sure why this note repeat isn't working, because this is what the best part of this plugin. Why doesn't this work? Because it has this sort of built-in, it's not really sequencer. It's almost like an arpeggiator, but for some reason that's not loading. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna get rid of this one. We're gonna use a stereo one. I think that might be why. No. This note repeat should work. And then basically what it does is when you're playing sounds, it will work sort of like an arpeggiator, but it'll do it on beat. And I actually created, I'll show you what it's supposed to sound like, because I don't know why this isn't loading up. This has always had, like, it's an older version and it's always had issues with Ableton, but see this here? So if we just have the sound here, but I've set this up. So it sounds more like a movie trailer. And I got the idea for this. I did movie drums like Big Bang because this actually does it. But for a while, every time you had MIDI input going into here, it would crash Ableton. But now it doesn't anymore. But for some reason, this note repeat doesn't go on. And yeah, I'll have to figure out. Oh, maybe this? Here, we'll go 60. Yeah, there we go. So you can get a really nice rhythm going. And yeah, this is... It's funny to say it's one of my favorite plugins that I forgot about, but I actually did forget about it. And then there's another one that I haven't used much, which is this other one, Singles Atsia Percussion. It's the same type of idea, but oh, I guess we got to choose a sound here. Yeah, it doesn't want to play the sounds. So I may have moved. I think I moved the library over. So anyways, there's this one here. Very similar to the other one, just different sounds. And I don't think it has that that MIDI thing to get that rhythm going. I should, if you guys want this arpeggiator preset, let me know, and I'll put it somewhere so you guys can download it. And front DAW, random machine. I use these here and there. Union, this is the original from Wave OSC. Soundtoys Little Altar Boy I use a lot. Little Plate, I actually had forgotten that I had it. And I don't even know if I've ever used it. Okay, we'll bring Serum back here. And just choose a random sound again. Maybe a lead. It's obviously too much. We'll bring the... Yeah. Plates aren't my favorite reverbs, so it does sound okay, but yeah, I don't use this that much. I like bigger reverbs. Like if I'm going to use the reverb, yeah, I like either something realistic just to give everything a good feel, or like more extreme reverbs for sound design. Radiator, I'd forgotten I had this, and this does make it sound. It emulates hardware that was used for records like in the 70s and stuff. So I don't know if we can... Can't really tell that much on this sound here. Yeah, you can tell a little bit. Let's try some of these. Okay, it's a little extreme, but drum puncher. You know, these aren't drums. Yeah, so you can go pretty extreme with these. It's interesting. Like, you could automate this output, and it sounds different than now automating the actual audio level of the sound. Like, this does have a... Anyways, I could see throwing an LFO on here and doing some stuff with it, but anyways, that's Radiator. Just add some coloring to your sound, basically. A lot of people hate that phrase, like coloring, but that's what it is. Oh, this I use constantly, the Symphony Orchestra. That's another, if you want a great free plugin, this is another one. It used to be you had to do a sort of survey and you had to wait like 3 weeks or something, but now it's free for everybody. And they are the most realistic orchestral sounds, the easiest to use, no, easiest to fit into a mix out of anything I've tried. Like over years and years and years. This is the one that, yeah, if you want a free plugin, that's the one to get. I keep saying that every free plugin I mention, but they're just some great free plugins that people really don't think about. Guitar strip. These are just to adjust the sound. This one here is interesting, and I had sort of forgotten about it. It's basically made to emulate the, what do they call it? Yeah, the Listen mic comp. If you know In the Air Tonight, the way they get that gated drum sound, you can look into it. Like, I won't go into the whole story, but basically they were using, there's a microphone that you can use to have from the control room in a studio to the vocal booth or whatever, the booth. And they were using that, and I guess they left it on or something, and the sound was coming through that microphone. They were like, I like the sound. So they recorded stuff through that microphone. And this is made to emulate it's a heavily compressed sound. So it's not just the microphone, but it's the way it's compressed. It's very, very heavily compressed, because if you're sitting in the control room and you want to be able to hear somebody, you know, it's bringing everything up so you can hear the voices from people, and you're not like bringing the volume up and down constantly or whatever. But this emulates that compression, so it's extremely high compression. And I'm wondering if I see, especially with this delay, it might make some interesting sounds here. So you can tell how heavily compressed, but sometimes using this on stuff can get some really interesting sounds, because we don't usually have that compression that strong. And anyways, the way the compression sounds, it just has you can tell it keeps bringing that delay up. Like, for a longer time. Anyways, it's a way to add like extreme compression, and yeah, you don't use this on everything, but it can get some interesting sounds. Flex verb. I've sort of forgotten I had this. Oh yeah, I remember why. The thing I don't like about this one is, see if I move the pre-delay, it makes weird sounds as I move it. So a lot of the time when you're working on a delay with the reverb, you're doing adjustments, but this one, some of the adjustments just make it sound really weird, so you have to like wait for it to load this new load the new setting and then do it. And a lot of the time I try to work really quickly, so sometimes it just, yeah, it sort of annoys me, so I don't use it, and then I forget that it's here. But it is a really nice sounding reverb, and I never even really looked at the presets. But anyways, that's that one there. Vocal strip for vocal, like it's got a bunch of adjustments for your vocals. X compressor, I don't remember getting it. I remember getting it, but I don't remember using it at all. Oh, that sounds nice. Let me go back to... Okay. I thought it was doing more than it is, but I think the sound is just really nice now that we took the... You can tell now, like the radiator, you can tell how much it's adding to it. Because if I remove it, it feels like something's missing. But anyways, okay. So we've got this. We're going to have to do a part 3 about this, or... Oh, yeah. There's still a lot to go. You know what? I think I'm going to stop it there. And then we'll do a part 3 separately, because there are quite a few still to come that I really want to look at. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to stop here, and next will be... Should I finish the S's? Okay, let's finish the S's. Backbone. I don't know. This has been coming up lately. Wants to find stuff on your local network. Okay, so Backbone. I have no idea what this is. I don't remember at all. And for some reason, it looks like I don't have any presets in here, or... Oh, I think I remember this one. Actually, this is pretty recent that I got this one. I think it's... You can layer drum sounds, make interesting sounds, but... especially with this decompose. I think that's why I was interested in this. This decompose... Somehow you can load up a drum sound, do decompose, and it'll create a synth version of that drum sound, which is really interesting. But I haven't used this, so I don't. These do sound nice though. Okay, so, and this was free recently with something. I don't know if it was a magazine, like Beat Magazine. And even if you guys have a library card, you can get access to Beat Magazine. And or even if you buy the magazine itself, it's pretty cheap, and pretty well every issue has some interesting. But I don't think this was in there. I don't know how I can't remember how I got this, but I'm pretty sure it was free from something that I had. But anyways, okay, Backbone, and then this one here. Okay, this is Backbone again. And then the Nathan. Okay, this one, I always forget I have this. And it's one of One of the plugins that I really like using. I'm gonna go back here, throw Serum on here, and have. I wonder if we can have like a. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna use it with this, and then this. When they released this, they had Drake's picture on it, and I guess they had issues with whatever. They had to cancel the whole thing, and then they re-released it with somebody that doesn't really look like Drake, but it's got that same sort of feel. It's interesting. I never noticed that you could do that. So you could change the hair color. And so basically, I love the UI on here. So as the water goes up, it feels more underwater. You can see the water, you can see the waves. And you can bring the redux up if you really want to do some... notice the hair too. Like bit reduction and stuff. So the concept behind this is in Drake's music and music, like a lot of that music, like that style, you'll have they will make space for the vocals by moving everything out of the way. And I remember hearing his producer say, like, a lot of people think it's just filtered, but it's not. Like they'll use bit reduction or whatever, can't think of the word, and then they'll do that, so they're basically taking everything away, so that vocal just pops out. And that's basically what this is doing. Like, so it's an interesting little plugin. It's usually about $10, and sometimes I think even a bit cheaper. So depending on the type of music you're working on, this can be really useful, even just to look. I don't know. It's a great plugin to there's something about it when they do something with the UI that's interesting to watch. Like, it doesn't make it sound any better, but it feels like it sounds better, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's underwater. Finalizer. Yeah, I'd forgotten I had this, and I actually have it as a favorite. And okay. Are they different? I'm trying to hear if they're different samples, but it doesn't even sound like it's a different sample. But see, again, like I was saying earlier, actually, this one does have it. If you listen to it, it does have a little bit of a loop in there, but the loop doesn't change over time. But yeah, this one doesn't. Anyways, it's got some interesting sounds, especially for lo-fi or whatever who want to have background noise, and it's got 50 different samples. It almost sounds like... trying to figure out if the different notes are pitched up or not. But anyways, it's an interesting little plugin from them. X8 is for 808s. I use this a lot, and I love the sound out of that. And I actually forgot I had X8 too. I forgot they updated it. I guess it's been a while since I've used it. This looks completely different than the other one. It looks a little bit like Sublab that I have. I don't think we've gone... oh, I might have mentioned it yesterday. I can't remember. Yeah, it's under F. So, but anyways, this does have some nice 808s. And they change depending on the note you're playing. So they're pitched to your... like, you can pitch it to your track by by using the same notes that you'd be playing in your track. So that's always nice when these are pitched, because if you just have the 808 and you've got to pitch it yourself, it's a little bit annoying. But anyways, so yeah, so that's the T's. And then we'll do the U to Z or Z next time. And there are still, like I said, a lot of these that I want to look at, and I want to, do them properly. So yeah, we'll stop there, and hope we'll see you next time. Thank you so much to everybody for dropping by, for chatting, for being here. I really appreciate everybody who subscribes and everything. Like I love doing this stuff, and I'm glad many of you enjoy it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next live stream or the next video.